hope we can get intro music. Something happened. I plugged the tablet in, it didn't charge. I'm at like 9%, so hopefully there'll be enough charge to do the intro, and then I'll have to shut the tablet off and plug it in again. Fingers crossed. Let's see if we get intro music. 9%. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to charge a fucking tablet. Oh, not looking good. From the WDWL TV multiplex, live from the station of the golden microphone, we bring you the pride of the station, the grumpy old man, and, the grumpy vulture. Would you like to take your bow? Okay, take your bow. Do it nice, do it nice. Keep the banner up. Okay, oh, good, you got the banner both ways. Okay, back in your corner now. God, I wish you would learn to keep this thing straight. Ugh. I see they didn't repossess your disco light again. All right, let's get this out of the way. And hold on a minute while I can't believe I did that. Let me power this off. And all right, I'm going to have to start it back up again. Oh, I forgot to plug the tablet in. I was down to 9% battery. So hopefully, playing the intro, it went from 9 to 5%. Holy shit. Oh, you'll notice I had forgotten all about this. This was one of the gifts that they gave me when I picked up my bike, because it's a 100th anniversary shirt to go with the bike. And let me try to turn around, see if you can see the back. Oh. Hopefully you can see the back. Yeah, I forgot I still had this. It was, I have a bad habit. I'll put a shirt on a hanger and then put a shirt over that shirt and maybe a third shirt over that shirt. So I'm going through the closet this morning looking for another item I thought I'd lost in moving. What do I find? My 100th anniversary Harley shirt. I was like, wow. 2 amazing finds in one day. Now, let me do a little preface to the next item. If you remember, new background, well, old background. I was getting bored with that red one. This was one, oh God. I bought this one probably, let's see. I've got coming, it'll be 40 backgrounds. This was probably like number 10. I wish there was more gold, though. See, there's a gold thing, and then there's gold up here. I wish it was more gold, like all the way over here. That way I could have the golden studio with the golden microphone. I will have one of the greenies tomorrow. It's actually, I don't know why they did this. They shipped number 3 first. And then number 1 and 2 will be here like maybe later in the week or next week. So I don't know if I'm going to put that one up tomorrow or wait. So, if you remember, I told you in 1996, when I was driving Bob Costas, he gave me a shitload of gifts. I thought I lost them in moving. I found 2 of them. I'm still missing 2 more, but I found 2 of them. Now watch me hang myself here. I got a nice summer NBC jacket and an NBC Sports hat. It's a light summer jacket, but I've never worn it. Never worn either item. I don't know why. I mean, like somebody's going to want this jacket, like it's going to be worth something. But yeah. Very, very nice. Yeah, never worn it. And now, and this is this just to show, it says right on here, official NBC Sports equipment. So it's not a knockoff. But yeah, I thought it was cool. Oh, I'm destroying the studio. Oh, come on, stay up there. Oh. Shit be falling off the walls next. Ow, ow, ow. Yeah, that was another item. I had a coat over the top of that jacket. Although, I had to move in kind of a hurry. So, instead of, 47 hangers, I took it down to 27 and doubled shit up and packed it in my hall closet. I hardly even opened the door on that hall closet. So today, I was, What the hell was I looking for? Well, yeah, I was looking for that jacket. So I found the jacket and the hat, and in the meantime, I found my 100th anniversary Harley Davidson dress shirt. First time I've ever worn it. First time. Got Harley Davidson on both sleeves and that big emblem on the back. Black and tan, Harley colors. First time I've ever worn it. Right now. It's making its TV debut. And believe me, after the show, I'll be taking it off because in my luck, I'll spill something on it. I almost spilled coffee on it before. It was like, whoa! I went to pick the cup up and the cup kind of sloshed over the side and it was like, whoa! Missed the shirt and the pants. Now, if it would the coffee that got on the pants, who gives a shit? They're blue jeans. I have another shirt from when I was working at White Motors. And there were a bunch of us that got invited out to dinner by the Cummins engine rep. And I've got a flashy red shirt with the C logo for Cummins diesel on it. Another one I've never worn. I don't know why I never wore shit. It's it's not like it's gold or silver where it's going to go up in value. So I decided I'm going to start wearing it. And today, the Harley shirt made its official debut. Of course, doing all this digging through closets and doing laundry today, I forgot to email Jenny. Brain dead. Although, I used a different cycle on the washer today. And amazingly, it worked perfect. Yeah, I used the, what is it called? Quick cycle, speed cycle. I can't remember what the cycle is. 25 minutes. I was like, okay, now it's going to feel like I have my other machine. Yeah, 25 minutes. Because I was timing it. So now I've used, out of the 10 cycles, I've used 3. At least now, I can get back to somewhat normal laundry days. What is it called? Speed cycle or something like that? All I know is it's half the time. I timed it exactly 25 minutes from the time I pressed start to the time it played its little melody. It plays like a 45-second fucking melody, which is stupid because I can't hear it. The other machine had a buzzer. When it was done, this thing. Quick wash. I think the same thing. Quick. All I know is it was 25 minutes. It filled with enough water. So now I can use the 25-minute cycle wash and the 25-minute cycle dry. And I can get back to my normal way of doing laundry. As a matter of fact, I did 2 loads today. And, wonderful. Isn't that music stupid? It would be all right if you were like in a basementless house and you had a laundry room, or like a lot of the newer homes, the laundry room is on the main floor. Well, I got a house that was built in 1946. It has a basement. I can't hear the stupid thing. I'm constantly. And then the machine runs so quiet, I have to go all the way down. And, machine's still running. The thing that pisses me off about these new machines is you can't speed a cycle up. Like on my other machine. I could the one cycle was for timed wash. Okay, it was a 15-minute wash. If I only had a few items, I would set it on like 8. Oh, you can't do that with these machines. There's no way of shortening a cycle. So I guess the shortest cycle is this quick wash, which works for me. At least today, laundry was somewhat normal. Although, dummy me, I keep forgetting to buy bleach. Because when I do my whites, I like to put a little bleach in. Well, look who's here. How are you doing? We've been worried about you. Well, you don't have to apologize. We just were worried that maybe you were really ailing, and we all care about one another here. I was really worried, Jenny. I'm glad to see you back. Well, I'm sorry to hear you're having troubles. I hope it's nothing serious. Is it health? Well, I shouldn't get too nosy, but health related or life related? Believe me, we've all been with the life related problems. But it's good to see you. If you're having a problem, all you got to do, pop in, just say, hey, I'm here to say hi, I'm doing okay, or I'm not feeling well, I'll get back to you at another time, see you, bye. You know, you never have to stay. Don't feel bad for leaving. But just if situations allow it, just pop in and say, "Hey, I'm saying hi. I'm okay. I've got some behind the scenes things. I'll be back in a couple of weeks or something like that." Well, believe me, Jenny, if anybody knows about that, that's why I'm glad that I finally have a really decent shrink. Him and I are going to sit down and have a long talk. Although I wish they had a couch. Every time you see a shrink on TV, he's got a couch. My shrink has an office the size of a shoebox. Well, like I say, you never have to stay. Just let us know you're still around. You know, pop in, pop right back out. We're understanding. We were just worried because nobody's heard from you. And we do care, Jenny. We all, you know, really, we everybody here cares about one another. No, she's been working a shitload of overtime. So, not to mention, she's not even sure where the scrapbooks are. Because when my mother passed, she had to really quickly, and this is where some of these senior living places are really assholes. She passed away like on the 27th of the month. They told my sister, "Hey, 31st, that apartment's got to be empty, or we're charging you another month's rent." So she basically just slammed all kinds of shit in boxes and put it in her garage. So I don't know when she's going to go through it. Right now she's working a shitload of overtime. And the whole thing is, that apartment didn't get rented for 2 months. It sat empty for 2 months. And they told her, midnight on the 31st, or we're charging you another month's rent. So she just went in there and whatever she was going to keep, just tossed it in boxes. Yeah, the management company, the woman that worked for the management company told her, midnight on the 31st, that apartment's got to be empty. And like I say, she passed away on the 28th. Well, I haven't been in touch with Nomad since the last time he was on the show. You know, he told me he's really busy. I don't want to bother him. So I know he probably watches the next day. And, you know, when somebody tells me they're busy or they're not, you know, feeling 100%, I don't bother them. Matter of fact, I told Kathy, I've been meaning to email you for the last 4 days, and I keep forgetting. Just to, you know, just to see how you're doing. Because, like I've said before, this YouTube channel is more like everybody sitting around the kitchen table having a cup of coffee and a chat. So, you know, when one of the neighbors don't show up for coffee, you're a little worried. But like I say, you never have to stay. Don't ever feel like, you know, oh, God, he's going to be pissed off because I'm going to leave right away. No, just let us know how you're doing and you can pop right back out. That's okay. We just want to know that you're doing okay. You know, the whole thing is, I always forget about Discord because I've never really used it. So it's not like first thing in the morning, I fire up my computer, I read my email, and then I read news stories. And then when I'm done reading the news, I'll, like right now, I'm waiting for that goddamn video on eBay, so I'll check the tracking number. And I'm waiting for shit from Temu, so I'll go in and I'll check the tracking. And then when I'm done doing that, then I start watching videos. I'll be doing that for another couple of weeks until the weather warms up. And then I've got to get working on that RAV4. I got to get that car running. But I can't work outside when it's chilly. So, you know, once the weather warms up and gets decent, I'll be hopefully... It's only going to take me a day or two to get that goddamn thing running. I've got all the parts. So, but don't be a stranger. Just pop in and say, hey, I'm okay. I've got some situations here that I need to take care of, and I'll be back. That way we know that you're around. Jenny, you don't have to go into big explanations. We understand. Everybody has problems. I'm the last thing on anybody's mind, believe me. Even my kid, I'm the last thing on his mind. I said the only way he'd know I was dead in this house is as soon as I started to smell. So if ever in this situation again, just pop in and just say, hey, I got to go. We'll all understand. We just were concerned. Now we know you're 90%. We'll say that. You're not 100%, you're 90%. So, yeah, we worry. I mean, this is probably the only YouTube channel where we're all like a family. That's the way I look at it. I don't look at this as a moneymaker or, you know, I come on here every night and it's just a chat session. It's all the neighbors getting around the kitchen table with a cup of coffee. That's the way I feel this is. It's like the end of the day, we're winding down, everybody's relaxing, cup of coffee, friendly little chat. Like I told my shrink, you know, first of all, he doesn't understand this YouTube and social media and all this shit. I told him, I said, hey, it's kind of my shrink session. These goddamn glasses are driving me crazy tonight. Well, they're clean. I don't know why. See, that's what I mean, Jenny. If people don't hear from you, stuff like that happens. And believe me, it would be the same thing here. Because my kid and I don't speak. We're in the same fucking house. He don't talk to me. He's like a vampire. I go to bed, next thing I know, he's up cooking, making food, chatting with his friends. I could be dead in the bedroom, and he'd be like, God damn, something stinks. Look in my bedroom and go, oh, that's what smells. Okay, close the door, seal it up with duct tape. My poor cat would be going crazy. Treats? Somebody gonna give me treats? Who's gonna give me treats? This guy here in the bed ain't giving me no treats. Got him spoiled, fucking rotten. Now the little bastard, I can't walk in that bedroom. If he hears me, he could be like the other day. He was laying I had the kitchen window open. He was laying in the window, taking a nap. I went in the bedroom to get something. He heard me close the damn dresser drawer. Next thing I know, he's on the bed. Treats? Treats? Oh, believe me, I know that look. I worked for the coroner's office for 3 years. And the job I had was to go do the pickups. So believe me. And depending on the temperature, it don't take long. Believe me. So that's sad. Didn't he have any family? See, at least like Marianne next door, she'll text me a couple times a day if she don't see me outside, or if she don't hear my truck leave, go to the store. If I don't go outside, she's texting me. Is everything okay? Yeah, I just no need to go out today, At least she checks on me. Before my sister got this job with Ford, she would call me daily. But now that she's working out at the engine plant and sucking up all the overtime, she don't have time. She basically is trying to sock as much money into her 401k as she can, because she's 50. So, what has she got? 12, 15 more years to work? Because where she was working before had no retirement plan. Well, Jenny, when they come across a situation like that, they basically need to get back in service as soon as possible. Evidently, maybe the coroner's office doesn't have a service to pick. A lot of smaller coroner's office, unfortunately, like, EMS has to do the transfer. And then here's the stupid thing. Now, in Ohio, I would pick somebody up like that. You still had to go to the hospital for a doctor to pronounce them dead. We would waste more time sitting in the hospital waiting for a doctor to go out to the van to go, yep, 642, here you go. Well, I would call their superiors. I would call their superiors and say, hey, out of respect for me. I asked them to wait. Let me go down the hall. Let me get another room. I would call their fucking superiors and bitch. That was not right. Of course, that's me. I'd be on that goddamn phone, and if I didn't get any satisfaction on the phone, I'd be beating on somebody's desk. What was their big goddamn hurry? I would call their superiors. I really would. Because I'm sure you're not the only person that they've done this to. But a lot of people won't say anything. So this could be their standard operating procedure of being basically ignorant. And if you didn't, if I didn't get any satisfaction on the phone, I'd have been right there. I'd have gone down and demanded to talk to somebody. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Jenny. God, that's enough to that's enough to give anybody fucking nightmares. I was the unfortunate one that found my grandfather, but he passed away during the night. And I was there, the next morning. That's sad. That's sad. That's sad. That's part of the problem when you don't have anybody that stays in constant contact. What does it take to make a phone call to see if somebody's okay? How old was he? Was he up there in years? That's like several years ago. my neighbor's son passed away. He was living with her. He had the bedroom upstairs. And unfortunately, he liked to partake in street pharmaceuticals. And he OD'd. And he OD'd while his mother was visiting one of her daughters. So he was up in the bedroom 4 days. And then she came home to find him. And it wasn't the first time he OD'd. But luckily, she was home. And if she didn't hear him, she'd go upstairs. But Christ, she was in her 80s. So, it's not like she could amble up and down the stairs. But nobody was home except him, and he met with his street pharmacist who gave him a prescription. And they determined that it was H, but it happened to be mixed with F. And the coroner said basically he no sooner removed the needle from his arm, and the next thing, 41. Oh my God. That's fucking young. That's sad. I mean, it was great that you had that, Jenny, but you weren't around him 24/7. It would be different if he was sitting in your living room watching TV with you, and the next thing you know, over he went. Then you could help him. But it's not like, you were around him all the time. You had a backup plan. The problem is, and today, you are literally taking your life in your hands, because all these street pharmacists are using F to cut and stretch their supply, and you never know what you're buying today. I'd be afraid to be a junkie today, because you literally are taking your life in your hands with every purchase. Take it from somebody that's on the F legally. But like my pain management doctor told me, when I told him, I said, oh, I'd like to have a beer now and then. He said, oh, with what? With those patches? He said, you could OD in a heartbeat. I said, I only have one, maybe one a month. Yeah, my neighbor is a retired detective. He was in auto theft, but all the detectives talk. And he said, one of the detectives in the narcotics unit said, years ago, if you bought like H, it was 100% H. All right, maybe mixed with a little baking soda. Well, people were complaining, oh, I'm not getting the buzz. So they started adding F. And they add a little more, and a little more, and a little more. And they said, like, today on the streets, instead of it being like 80% H and 20% F, it's reversed. Well, that F, whoa, that stuff's deadly. Oh, not to mention, they look like fucking skeletons. They lose their fucking teeth. There was a documentary I watched a couple months ago on street pharmaceuticals. And they had a picture. Well, put it this way. They had all the mugshots of this girl who basically started using at 19. And every time she got arrested, she looked uglier and uglier and uglier. And her last booking photo, she literally looked like a zombie. They put this side by side. It didn't look like the same girl. And she was 28. She looked 60. No teeth, big ugly lesions on her face. Her hair was all falling out. Well, congratulations on your recovery. And you know as well as I do, you're recovering every day. Because it's a mental battle that you face daily. Congratulations, sweetheart. Give you a lot of credit. It's tough to kick. Congratulations. Good for you. Glad to hear it. I'm proud of you. Take it from somebody who was a fucking alcoholic. I shouldn't drink at all. But and they say it's bullshit, but I can control it. I have one a month. As a matter of fact, not the last Heineken's I had was New Year's Eve. I still have 3 in the fridge. I can open that fridge, look at them, close the fridge. Well, that's what I say. You are recovering every morning you wake up. And, spend some time at the Gray Bar Motel, huh? Oy, 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 oy. I take it was long enough where you basically kind of got clean. Well, that's the alcohol telling your system, or your system telling the alcohol, hey, I can't handle you. But unfortunately, that's the way it starts. And then the alcohol doesn't give you the buzz anymore. So you go up the ladder of things that give you the buzz. And today, I wouldn't trust anything. Oh, yes, I can. No, I can't. I just figure, yeah, you're going, yep. Well, I give you a lot of credit, Jenny. You faced it. You're still facing it every single day. You're not letting it get to you. God bless you, sweetheart. Good for you. I'm proud of you. That's a tough monkey to get off your back. Good for you. Too many end up getting patted in the face with a shovel. And watching that documentary, seeing what people spend a day, of course, they're robbing people, breaking into houses, hawking stuff. This one girl, $200 a day. $200 a day she was spending. And had been in and out of the Gray Bar Motel many times. She'd be in, get clean, because she'd be in 6 months at a crack, come out the door, right to a dealer. Oh yeah, jail. They don't give you shit. I've heard they don't help you at all. The guards just tell you tough it out. Yeah, like it's easy. And it's sad. The money that we spend on the goddamn prison system, and when people need help, they don't get it. I wish I could remember the name of that documentary. It was an eye-opener. It was 2 hours. And believe me, it was scary. Because the guy that did the documentary would literally be with people when they were buying and using and there was one. It was a guy and a girl in Boston. And the guy got the girl hooked. And every time they had to go get the fix, she would want to go to rehab. And he kept talking her out of it. And it got to be the point where he had to inject her because they were running out of places. They showed him in their fucking car, and he was in between her fucking toes, trying to find a good vein. Been me, he'd have had a third hole in his head. Especially if it was like my daughter, and I found out he was the one responsible. I'd have given him the permanent fix. There they are, they were homeless, living in a fucking Honda Accord, and robbing people. Their thing was breaking into cars. They would break into cars and rifle through cars. To get enough money for their next fix. Finally, she got arrested. And her court-appointed attorney begged the judge to put her in inpatient rehab. And the judge said the only way he would do it, she had to break all ties with her boyfriend. And they ended up sending her out of state somewhere. And he ended up ODing. She finally got clean. Got a job. I think she was working at a Subway. They got her some housing. She did make a turnaround. But her boyfriend ended up getting patted in the face with a shovel. The documentary, half of it was done in Boston, and then the other half was done in Washington State, which is a huge place for junkies. Washington State kind of looks the other way. It was Washington State. Oh my God! It was worse than fucking Los Angeles. And you drive through Skid Row in Los Angeles, and it's just rows and rows and rows of tents and old motor homes. But Washington State is worse because they kind of let them get away with it. Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of that documentary. It was on YouTube. It was. I can't remember the name of it. But the first hour was in Boston and surrounding areas, and then the second hour was out in Washington State. There was a little bit around LA, but most of the second hour was all up in Washington State. Now, it was sad to see so many young people hooked because their life ain't going nowhere. I felt good for this girl finally kicking the habit. She had, put it this way, Subway took a chance on her. She turned out to be an excellent employee. But, you know, when she finally agreed to rehab and come out of rehab and agreed, you know, I'm done. I got to turn my life around. And she did. But that's one success story out of thousands. Because 9 times out of 10, they come out of rehab, they go right back. The call of the street. And like she said, it's easy to find a dealer. Very easy. You know what to look for. You walk through because every single city has a Skid Row. Every single city in America has a Skid Row. Once you find out where Skid Row is, you know how to find a connection. And it's sad. We used to have a war on drugs. Then the government decided it was a war they weren't going to win. Well, that's unfair. If you're going to have a program, you have a program that's open to both. Not say, okay, we're gonna concentrate strictly on the men. That's bullshit. But unfortunately, it's a war that they can't win. Because locking people up isn't the answer. But the government can only spend so much money on rehab. And, you know, unfortunately, look at all the goddamn government cuts. They don't care. They just don't care. Their attitude is, well, let the cities handle it. And you know, I grew up in the 70s when drugs were the thing. I'll tell you what, I was the oddball in the crowd. All of my friends, well, they were basically into that illegal tobacco. I've never even had as much as one puff. I don't believe in it. Matter of fact, they don't want to go out and party. I was the driver. I was happy with a Pepsi or a Dad's root beer or just to make sure that they got home safe. I was always the designated driver. And they were always like, aren't you having fun? You don't have to have drugs to have fun. Well, that's the wrong way of thinking, Jenny. I've read studies where more women can kick it than men. So their thinking is wrong. There's many studies out there. Women have better willpower than men. Sad world, I'll tell you. And anybody that gets hooked today, every time they make a purchase, it might be their last. And they don't think that way. Matter of fact, there was this guy in Boston. He OD'd 3 times in one day. EMS brings him back. They stabilize him. He gets released from the hospital. He went right out, got high again, OD'd. Luckily, somebody was around to call EMS. They bring him back. Hospital releases him. Went right out and OD'd again. Finally, after the 3rd time, they held him for like 72 hours. In some areas, drug court works. In others, it don't. It depends on the judge. It all depends on the judge. If you got a judge like that that says, hey, I'm going to give you a second chance, but the 3rd time, I'm dropping the hammer on you. But there's not a lot of judges that are like that. And, you know, locking somebody up for 30, 60, 90 days, that ain't the answer. Because as soon as they get released, they're right back out on the street. Sad situation. But unfortunately, it's getting worse. You know, everybody said, oh, we had, you know, serious drug problem back in the 90s, you know, it's worse now. Because the shit's too easy to get. And unfortunately, nobody really has the answer. I'm just thankful that my kid never experimented. He honestly looked me right in the eyes and said, I've never... But see, the money is running out with all the goddamn cuts that the government is making, the money for recovery programs is running out. And there's a certain guy in that fancy house there in D.C. that could care less. Well, the big thing is horse tranquilizer. But they'll cut it with anything. They don't care. They're not using it. And then I watched a documentary on this shit that's come over here from Russia called Crocodile. Holy shit, you see what that crap does to people? Yay. Talk about turning people into fucking zombies. Yeah, it's called Crocodile. Matter of fact, I watched one newscaster on there was calling crocodile. No, it's not crocodile. Crocodile is that thing down in Florida. Crocodile. Use that shit, you lose an arm, you lose a leg. That's some nasty shit. And it's slowly becoming an epidemic here. Yeah, crocodile. Years ago, insurance companies would. Not anymore. I remember back in the 80s, 90s, maybe into the early 2000s, a lot of insurance companies would cover rehab. But the problem is, a lot of people go into rehab, they come out clean, and then they fall right back into the old pattern. So the insurance company said, see ya, we gave you one shot, you screwed up. You know, those were the days when, at least jobs that I worked, you got free medical. Not anymore. I don't think there's a job out there that gives you free medical anymore. And if they do, they've got so many, nope, we're not covering this, no, we're not covering that, no, we're not covering that. Suboxone's a Band-Aid. It's a Band-Aid. You go from one addictive drug to the other. Suboxone's a Band-Aid. If you stop taking Suboxone, you go into withdrawal. It's a vicious circle. And drugs are so fucking easy to get. Look at the fucking pill mills that went on for years. People would doctor shop. They finally started busting a lot of them fucking doctors. They got one here in Cleveland. I knew the doctor. I didn't go to him. I knew him. He was a pill mill. Somebody come in and say, oh, I got pain in my knee. Here you go. Here's a script. Next. Where's your pain? Oh, my elbow. Okay, here you go. They finally busted him. I believe it, Jenny. Well, like I say, you get hooked on one or the other, it's just a vicious circle. You got to have intensive inpatient rehab for at least 6 months. These 30, 60, 90-day things don't work. It's got to be at least 6 months inpatient where you're not even allowed off the property. That's the only way. And then once you get out, you need to be heavily monitored. And there just aren't the resources for it. There's a YouTuber on here that's a ex-H junkie. She's on several times a week. Openly admits it. One of the few success stories. But, like she admits, it wouldn't be hard to get hooked again. She's on several times a week. See, I'm going to have a real problem if they go through with trying to cut me by 50%. All this talk of alternate medications. I'm a legal junkie. That's where my teeth went. I've been on the F patches for so long. Yeah, my teeth just fell out. And in order to get teeth, they want $3,000. I said, screw it. I've been eating without teeth for so long, I don't need teeth anymore. I can eat corn with the best of them now. And everything else. Except, cashews. Can't eat cashews. I was addicted to cashews. Oh. I'd go down to Peterson Nuts, get me a couple pounds. Can't eat cashews no more. Or my favorite candy bar, Paydays. Oh my God. I'd buy paydays by the carton. Can't eat them no more either. Oh, I love payday candy bars. Oh my God. A day didn't go by, I'd have at least 3 or 4. I would go down to the B.A. Sweeties, the warehouse, the candy warehouse down at Brook Park and Ridge. Buy me a big box. Not no more. Damn it. And cashews, oh God. I used to go through cashews like, well, Peterson Nuts, it's got a place over on Ridge Road. Is it Ridge? I think it's Ridge. They got the one downtown on Public Square, and then they got the one, I think it's on Ridge. I go in there, I would get the broken ones because they were cheaper. Couple of pounds, sit, watch TV. Oh, mine are sitting in a cabinet in my dentist's office. Of course, it's been so long, they'd have to redo them. I mean, I actually had them in my mouth. And they had to make a little adjustment. And then the place I was working for switched insurance companies. And they wouldn't pay for them. And my uppers and lowers are $3,000. They're still sitting there. Every now and then I get a postcard from the dentist. It's sad. But I have been without teeth for so long, my gums are like concrete now. I can eat anything except payday candy bars and cashews. But I can eat corn with the best of them. Mine too, Jenny. There is very little I can't eat. Except for nuts. But I could go through a ear of corn. Yeah, I've bit my tongue a couple of times. Yeah, thank God that's one area of your mouth that does heal quickly. Because it's not like you can put a Band-Aid on it. But yeah, people look at me like, how are you eating that? Like you, chewing it. Yeah, well, over the years, your gums get to the point where they take over for your teeth. And mine, I haven't had teeth. I'll tell you when. They had to remove some broken ones on the bottom. That was June of 2000. And my teeth have been sitting in the cabinet in my dentist office since then. His receptionist said, yeah, we still got them. They're in a box with your name on them. Come up with $3,000. Well, it'd be more now because they probably have to redo them. I got 25 years of chomping on these gums. Those teeth ain't going to work no more. They'd have to do new impressions and make all brand new ones. I can't afford that shit. If I'm going to spend $3,000, I'm going to buy me a Japanese mini truck. Don't need teeth to drive that. You know, it used to embarrass me. Although I'm lucky because a lot of people, when their gums recede, so do their lips. You know, you're like, at least I don't look like I don't have teeth. I'll tell you what's sad. Seeing women that can't afford teeth. You look at a nice looking female and then she'll turn around and you know, goddamn lips are all sunken, and at least I'm lucky. Mine didn't. You and me are in the same club. 20 years for you, 25 for me. Over that span of time, you got concrete up there now. It's amazing how you lose teeth and your gums will make up for it after a while. Like I say, there is not too much I can't eat anymore. Although I used to love, you know, like a steak or pork chops, chewing on the bone. Can't do that no more. Well, the muscles, they'll toughen up after a while. You'll be all right. Oh, where the hell did I put them? No, that's not it. That's not it. Is this it? There, my friends, my smart-ass friends. Let me show you something here. Which ones are the uppers, which are the lowers? My friend sent me these imitation teeth. Let's see if I can get the lowers in. Oh, hey, how are you? I got assholes. That was my gag gift for my birthday last year. Fucking imitation teeth. and a tube of glue to hold them in. They're like, get out of here. Yeah. My imitation teeth. The instructions say, soak them in hot water, allow them to cool just enough, and then put the poly grip and stick them in, and then they will form to your gums. The problem is, it's not a plate. It's just like they're going to stay in with glue. Wait, they'd be all right to walk around with, as long as you didn't eat. Oh, I used to do that. That's natural reflex. Somebody walks by, yeah. Stick your tongue. It doesn't say where the hell they got these from. Those are the lowers. These are the uppers. See, there's nothing to them. That's the problem. Oh, look at me. Oh, I could smile again. Oh, goddamn piece of Chinese crap. They sent me 2 sets. Well, the object is, you're supposed to glue them in. You can tell this stuff's made in China. This is the glue. Oral Ho. Oral Ho. Oh, I got the Oral Ho. This is the box of fucking glue. I would trust this a lot. I can imagine the chemicals that are in this shit. Thermoplastic denture adhesive. Oral Ho. Take this and you'll be an Oral Ho. Aha. As you can see, it's still sealed. I ain't opening that shit. Probably stick the teeth in and I'd never get them out again. That's the kind of friends I have. That's a birthday present. Here, we got you some teeth. Problem is I have to take the teeth out in order to, 1, talk, and 2, eat. Although, if I use the Oral Ho, I could glue them in. Probably need a goddamn chisel to get them out. Oral Ho. Typical Chinese shit. Soak teeth in hot water for 2 minutes. Cool down. Fit to your gums. Hold for 1 minute. Adjust until comfortable. And enjoy your new perfect smile. Yeah. Yeah. God damn. Oh, yeah. Like, it's made in America. Yeah, right. It don't say on the box where they're made. Silicone dentures. Look at all the Chinese fucking symbols. Yeah, you know where those came from. That's the kind of friends that I have. Oh, they thought it was hilarious. They put them in a big box. It was a box inside of a box inside of a box inside of a box. I was getting ready to kill somebody. Then I opened the little box. Teeth. And oral hole. I'm not even going to experiment. Be my luck, they would be permanently affixed, and I couldn't get the son of a bitches out. Not to mention they're not big enough for my mouth. Such wonderful friends I have. My buddy's wife was, well, now you can smile. I don't want to smile. That's why they call me the grumpy old man. Yeah. Although I'll tell you what, I have been enjoying my Lawson's chip dip. Oh, I'm rationing it. Just so many chips a night. I'm gonna make them cartons last. And I forgot to go get a goddamn potatoes today. I'll go tomorrow. I have to go to the store anyway. My cat needs some more delectables. Spoiled rotten. I'll get some of them nice big. The nice thing is, you take them out of the plastic shrink wrap and you just put them in the oven. They're all pre-rushed, wrapped in aluminum foil. I've had them many times. But they're huge. Jesus Christ. Goddamn potato the size of a tire on a Volkswagen. I'll get me some shredded cheddar. Get some fresh chives. Some bacon bits. I'm trying to think what else to throw in them potatoes. Cheese. My Irish butter. And then a big glob of Lawson's chip dip. A meal right there. One big baked potato. What else can I put in there besides cheese, chives, bacon bits? I think that's all Wendy's puts in them. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, I think that's all when you get the deluxe. And I'll get the real bacon bits, not them crummy imitation ones that taste like crushed plastic. I can't remember who makes them. There's a jar. Real bacon bits. Oh, I gotta kick it up. Especially when you got a potato that's that big. Bacon bits. When all else fails, add bacon. Yeah, well, I'll put a big glob of Irish butter. And then the shredded cheese, because you want it to melt inside the hot potato. And then the bacon bits and some chives. And then a big scoop of chip dip. A meal. Well, I figure what I'll do is I'll get the yellow sharp, and then I'll get the New England white mild cheddar. That way I'll have two different kinds of cheddar. And then the bacon bits, some chives, more bacon bits, and then the crowning glory, Lawson's chip dip. A meal in a bowl. And there won't be nothing left when I get done. Just eat that whole potato until it's gone. Then, if there's anything in the bowl, lick the bowl. It's like when I do my chili. I'll chop up some onion, put on top the chili, and get some shredded cheddar, and then a glob of Lawson's chip dip. Maybe if I can find some cubed beef cheap enough, I'll make some stroganoff. Nothing kicks up stroganoff than adding chip dip. The girl told me they get their chip dip delivery after 12 on Friday. So next Friday at noon, I'll be up at Circle K waiting for them to open the box, and I'll get some more chip dip. Can never have enough Lawson's chip dip. I'll tell you, the last time I made stroganoff, I forgot to buy sour cream. And I had maybe a third of a container of Lawson's chip dip. And I was like, well, it's sour cream. Oh my God, does that make excellent stroganoff? Holy shit. Unreal. You know another thing? Chicken pufferkosh. Lawson's chip dip in chicken pufferkosh. Whoa. I just thought of that. Anything you could use sour cream in, substitute Lawson's chip dip. Except if you're making a sour cream cake. I don't think that does. You know, I had a neighbor years back. Used to make what she called a sour milk cake. It was to die for. And she used sour milk. It was a chocolate cake. Oh my God. When she told me she made it with sour milk, I was like, ugh, until I tried it. And I never got the recipe. But she said you had to have good sour milk. And that's what she called it, a sour milk cake. I don't know any ethnicity that made cake with sour milk. And I've never seen a recipe for it either. But that's what she made this chocolate cake with, sour milk. And it was killer. Although any dessert, I mean, I'm a big dessert person. Like I used to tell the waitress, bring the dessert first, then I'll have the meal. And you really want to get a weird look? Order a piece of apple pie with a slice of cheddar cheese. And I tell them, put it in the warmer to like melt the cheddar a little bit. And they look at you like you're from another planet. I'm like, people have been eating cheddar cheese on apple pie for ages. I never heard of it. Cheese on pie? Yes. Better than ice cream. Put the cheese on the pie, put it underneath the salamander for a little bit, melt that cheddar, and then bring me out that piece of pie. And they look at you like, what? Just do it. And then the chef comes out from the back. What? Cheese on pie? Just do it. Of course, nowadays, line cooks are all young kids. Cheese on apple pie. Ice cream on peach pie. That's the way I order it. If they got peach pie, put some ice cream on it. You got apple pie, cheddar cheese. Or cherry pie. Although any other pie is good with ice cream except apple. I like it with a piece of cheddar cheese. I'm weird. I'm strange, yeah. It's the way I grew up. My grandfather, same way. Apple pie, cheddar cheese. Although I love cheese and crackers. I could live on cheese and crackers. Oh, that sounds tasty. And it's easy enough to make. That sounds tasty. That sounds like a Depression era meal. Back in the Depression, they made them mileage meals, you know. Cheap to make. It went around. I might try that. That sounds good. I like that. Yeah. Because I love noodles. Any kind of noodles. But they're the big, wide, klushki noodles. Oh, yeah. You know, another thing that my grandfather loved, shepherd's pie. I don't know. He had it in a restaurant, and then he told my grandmother, you know, and she'd make that for him at least once a month. And shepherd's pie's easy to make, too. But that noodle cadoodle sounds good. I might try that. Either way, I like both. Cream of chicken, cream of mushroom. Cream of kumquat, you know. Every now and then, I'll get a taste for cheese. I'll go in and I'll get a block of I like sharp cheddar. I'll get a block of cheddar, get a block of mild white cheddar, New England cheddar, uh, not so much with mozzarella or provolone, but maybe some pepper cheese. And I love I just forgot the goddamn crackers. Not Ritz. Oh, wow, we went 2 hours tonight. We went 2 hours without the echo. I'm trying to think of the goddamn crackers. They're square, rectangular. They're not round. Rectangular. A Toll House. No, that's not the right. That's not it. What the hell's the name of them goddamn crackers? They're rectangular. No. I don't know why I keep thinking Toll House. That don't sound right. Does it? Toll House crackers? They got like a buttery taste to them. But they're rectangular. They're not like Ritz. They're not round. I'll either get those or sociables. And I could eat cheese and crackers. I could make a meal out of cheese and crackers. Yeah. And you see, it just pops on. Oh, I oyster crackers and chili. Oh, I love oyster crackers. I keep thinking Toll House. Does that sound right? Toll House crackers? I'll, I will trade off. I'll get the sociables. I could, for some reason, Toll House sticks in my. Toll House sticks in my mind. They're rectangular buttery crackers. They got a real nice taste to them, and they're great with cheese. I could I could make a meal out of that. I get my tray table up, watch TV, have my crackers, my various cheeses, or get cheese and crackers and a stick of pepperoni. I'm good to go. My kid thinks I'm nuts. He said, "Aren't you going to eat dinner?" I am eating dinner. Cheese, crackers, pepperoni. I got meat, dairy. I could very easily sit down with a box of crackers, two or three different kinds of cheese, maybe a pepperoni stick, and watch TV and just munch away. I don't need a steak or pork chops or no. If I don't get the Toll House, I get sociables. I love them crackers. Cheese, crackers. I, I, I tell my friends, they think I'm crazy. That's not a meal. Well, you sit down to your pork chops, and I'll sit down to my cheese and crackers. That that's hard to find. The like Aldi's and Save a Lot. I like smoked cheddar, but it's hard to find. What's wrong with cheese and crackers for a meal? It's filling. It's good for you. You're getting your calcium. Yeah. Cheese, crackers, maybe a little pepperoni. Or get some summer sausage or trail bologna. Cheese, crackers, little trail bologna, little summer sausage. Oh, fills me up. When my when my son was working for Amazon, his route was down in Amish country. I'll tell you what, he used to get the best trail bologna on earth. Oh, God, was it delicious. And summer sausage from Amish country. Oh. You know, Jenny, as long as it fills you up and you can keep it down, cheese is full of, vitamins and calcium. Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm not big on apricot jam. Now, like blackberry jam, raspberry jam, apricot I'm not too hot on. But yeah, I like get the Toll House crackers, put some jam on them. Jam don't taste too good on sociables, though. Yeah, I set my tray table up, and I'll have my crackers and 3 or 4 different kinds of cheese, and either pepperoni or summer sausage, and that's a meal for me. I'm happy. Well, you were getting some good food in you that you could hold down, because cheese, like I say, full of vitamins and calcium. So, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's a good healthy meal. Like I said, my son would be like, "Aren't you going to eat dinner?" That is dinner. Right there. He'd just shake his head. Well, speaking of dinner, let's see if the tablet charged enough for me to get, 39%. That should get me boot the tablet up. So we can do the outro. I like how it boots up with the old AT&T globe, because that's where that came from. AT&T, my bargain tablet from AT&T, going on 16 years and still working. Battery's getting a little crappy, but hey, if I can get it to play twice a night, I'm happy. Yeah, it was wonderful seeing Jenny come. Oh, you made my night. You made my night. You really did. I was getting worried. I kept forgetting to email you. So you made me a happy person tonight. and we had some fun conversation. See, I don't even need a topic. We just start and chat. Okay. Let's see if we can get the outro to play. We got 38%. Should be enough. We know where, right here, WDWL TV, 7 p.m. And with that, everybody have a wonderful rest of your evening. Jenny, take care. You were missed, but you made my night. And we will meet again tomorrow night. And with that,